Hey YouTube, it's Marquita and today is Veda Day number 14 and I'm here to bring you my list of postpartum must-haves. As of yesterday, I am officially 7 weeks postpartum from having a cesarean delivery, but this list can pretty much cover whether you have a cesarean delivery or if you're having a vaginal delivery. So let's get right on into the list. So the one of the things that are important is if you're breastfeeding, you're going to want to have some form of nipple cream. I use the Medela nipple cream, but there's also a brand named Lancino, and they have a nipple cream. If you're going to be breastfeeding, even in those first few days to just have your baby get the colostrum, you'll want to have nipple cream because you'll have a little bit of soreness, and it can also help prevent chafing and chapping and all kinds of other stuff. So nipple cream. A nursing pillow is really important. I talked about this in my breastfeeding video, but as I mentioned in that video, when you're breastfeeding, it's good to have a really good position, and being hunched over is really uncomfortable, especially when you're trying to get used to nursing. So having your baby up level can make it really a lot easier for you both to have successful nursing in those first couple days. Nursing pads. This is the brand that I use. It is the Lancino brand. They're disposable nursing pads, and they come in a package that look like this. They're individually wrapped, and you just put them in. Now, for those of you who are like, oh my goodness, you say that you're organic, you don't like to use waste. The reason why I have these disposable pads, I do have cloth pads. However, I have a lot of leaking still, and until that lets up, I will still be using the disposable pads because I do have organic cotton pads. I prep them, I put them in, and I was just soaking through them. I was doubling up and still soaking through them. And no new mom wants to walk around smelling like breast milk cheese. So I'll be using disposable pads for now, and that's about the only like baby affiliated waste other than my pads that I have coming out of the house. The next thing is that you have really comfy nursing bras if you're going to be nursing. I have on, it's a sports bra type one. I got it from Motherhood. It's easy for me to pull it down and be able to nurse, especially when Riley's upset. The other great option are ones that clip, but make sure that they're comfy. Your breasts are gonna expand in size once you have your baby and once your milk comes in. So you want to make sure that you have the right size breast, and you want to kind of stay away from underwire because it can irritate the glands in your breast and could cause mastitis. So that's a tip for breastfeeding. Another good thing to have is make sure that you have lots of easy snacks just hanging around. I keep them in my rocker or in my glider in the pockets. I use Luna bars or what are the other brands? I cannot think of the name. I keep energy bars, organic energy bars, in the side pockets so that you always have nutrition. If you're sitting there nursing for long periods of time, you're losing a lot of calories when you're nursing, so you want to make sure that you always have nutrition coming back in. Also, a really important thing is to have water with a straw. If you deliver in a hospital, 9 times out of 10, you'll end up with a cup like this. As you can see, I still use it. It helps me keep track of how much water I've been drinking throughout the day, and it's really easy to be able to fill it up. You want a big bottle. So if you don't deliver in a hospital, make sure you get a big jug of water with a straw, so that way you can, while you're nursing, you can still sip on your water because hydration is really important. The next thing on my list would have to be ice packs, and this is if you have been pushing at all or if you deliver vaginally. So even if you have a cesarean but you pushed before you had a cesarean, or if you had a vaginal delivery, you'll want to have ice packs. If someone wants me to, I can do the tutorial on how to make ice packs with witch hazel, and you can actually, if you have disposable diapers lying around, you can use those, or you can use pads and freeze them ahead of time. You don't have to go out and buy special ice packs. So let me know if anyone wants that recipe, and I can either do a video on it or I can send it to you in an email. The next thing that's really important is witch hazel. So I have witch hazel in the bottle, and I also have these. They're like Tux, but they're the Rite Aid brand. I refuse to spend $10 on Tux. So these are good for whether you pushed or at the end of your pregnancy when those unsightly hemorrhoids show up. These really help. So, really important to have those. The next important thing when we're talking about hygiene and other things is after you deliver is a peri bottle. Now, if you have a home birth, you can order extra ones of these. If you have a hospital birth, they usually give them to you and you can take them home. And this is basically like a bidet in your hands. You'll want this because regardless if you have a cesarean birth or a vaginal delivery, you'll have lochia, which is the discharge that happens as soon as you give birth. It starts, the bleeding starts, and so you'll want to feel fresh and clean because that smell is it's very different from a period smell, and there's a lot of it, so being clean is really important to me. So having that, and put a little bit of witch hazel in this, or a little bit of like body cleanser, and just spraying it off, especially if you have a vaginal delivery and you had to have any stitches. This works really well. So make sure you get one of those. Also, if you have a vaginal delivery, you'll want to get a solution for a sitz bath, and they'll probably explain to you how to do that in the hospital. The next things that are kind of important, or actually really important, are pads. I use the Stay Free Maxi Overnight, and they have a thermo control in them. Like I mentioned in my all natural video, I do not use mama cloth. It's something that I'm not really comfortable with, and when you are in your postpartum period, you cannot use tampons because they have a high risk for infection, so you have to use pads. I don't even think that you can use the Instead cups or the Diva cups during that time. So pads is the way to go. Make sure that you get whatever pads that they give you from the hospital, bring them home and use them. Also the stretchy mesh underwear, use those. And what I did was the first week of postpartum, I bought a really cheap pack of Depends from Walmart, and I just took a pad and I lined the inside of the Depends. And so what that did was ensure that when I was having this really heavy flow of blood, that it wasn't getting on my clothes. And the Depends, you couldn't even tell that I had them on. I asked my mom and Krista because I was really self-conscious about it. But let me tell you, they were super comfortable. They didn't rub on my incision. I didn't have to worry about my underwear rubbing on my incision. They pulled up over my stomach, and I did not have any accidents. The next big thing is once you stop using the Depends, make sure that you have comfy underwear. You might need to buy a pack that goes up in size because your stomach is not going to go right back to flat. And if you end up having a cesarean, you don't want underwear that are rubbing on that cesarean scar because number one, it's going to hurt, and number two, it's going to irritate the incision site. And some other small things, or make sure you have books or magazines in your nursing chair. Like I mentioned in my breastfeeding video, you'll want to have some chapstick, lotion, and other things because your skin is going to be going back to normal, and you'll want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. And also have a charged camera. Babies grow so fast. Riley is 7 weeks, and I cannot believe how fast she has already grown. So you'll want to catch all those moments, all those cute little sleepy smiles. So either on your phone or having a regular camera is something that's really important. So those are my list of postpartum must-haves. If you have any questions about anything that I listed in this video, then leave it in the comments section below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for Veda Day number 15. Bye!